Well, great afternoon. I was just doing a reading on Bruce Lee. And when they found him, now he died very young, great martial artist. But I'll put a link to the thing I was just watching. I was just in a few minutes in when I decided to do the reading, 13 minutes in, and this is a 24-minute thing. Now, he was, of course, a great martial artist, but he died. He was in this actress's home, and she went in and found him unresponsive. And they took him to the hospital, and he passed. Now they're saying that they think it was some sort of a brain hemorrhage, but really it was inconclusive as to what happened. Now he had this legacy that he was under a curse, that all the men in the family would die young. Now his son was killed on a movie set. Again, he was like 25, 26 years old, same like Bruce Lee was in his 20s, again, when he passed as well. And so what happened with it? Well, what I got is, now let me take these and put them so I know where goes, what goes where again. So we can break this down and I can show you the reading as it came out. Okay. So underneath of it all, what I had was his life path, and this was connected to another person. Okay. At the center of it, there was an obstruction, and I think this has to do with his strength, his ability, etc. Now going into it, above it we had a protection, and anchored in was a toxicity and coming to his death, the end point. So a protective toxicity as well, anchored in a toxicity, the death of the protected death, etc. We'll see how all this fits together. The challenge is a strong friend, and the woman's home. He was in her home when he went unconscious. So what we have with this, I looked at the center of it, the obstruction and the tower. Now we had a bear, which is looking at somebody wanting to control. When it came to going into it, centering on going forward, we have the woman here going forward, the protection, the toxicity, the end, and the anchored in. And then when we had, again, looking at the challenge, it was this woman and a strong happening of friend at the home. So all of this will start to make sense in a second. So then we look at what was above the bear. Control was out in the cold, and a Pandora's box when it came to control. When it come to the woman in control that was part of a family, And when it come to control and this moving forward, the ship moved, it came to his demise. Now, another thing that they were suspecting was when he was in Hong Kong, he went afoul of a triad. So the triad is like a mafia in the Chinese happenings, and he ran afoul of somebody, and that's why his parents sent him back to America, because he had run afoul of this triad. And what it's looking like from here, she had some kind of connection with this triad. They maybe had threatened her, because we had the strength of her friendship at her home that this happened, where he wound up with his demise. And we had this toxicity, an ending of this. So it looked like for some reason she may have been pressured, okay, by this triad family to aid in his death, that it's a Pandora's box. And so I think that she inherently gave him something that maybe was not going to show up in his blood work, that took him out. And it looks like that she was had some kind of connection with this triad. She was in the movie industry, and the triad could also be influential in the movie industry. So it looks like they had perhaps pressured her and given her something to give to him that would not show up in the toxicology reports. And that's what it looks like for the end of Bruce Lee. That somehow that this triad that he had crossed before pressured this woman, and this was about control. And so something was given to her to give to him that would not show up in the toxicology, and it took him out. It was all about continuing to control, okay, an obstruction for his going forward, okay. Someone in this triad decided to take him out, and part of his life fit with that, because again, he had this thing circulating that his family was under a curse, okay? And we have her turning her back on the past, going forward when it comes to protection and this toxicity, anchoring in his death, okay? So if you want to go forward, you know, and have a good life, you will participate in this. Again, this was moving forward, something that was struggled with that she did as a friend, and this was at her house where this took place. I've always wondered what actually happened to him, because he was in the prime of health, okay? And, you know, there was no reason that he should have had this this brain difficulty. And I don't think they really did a heavy-duty autopsy looking deeply into it. But that's what I get. I'm going to listen to the rest of this, and I will put the link in the description. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you online.